Take two. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Looking Back. We are into an exciting new season because it's here where we will highlight culturally significant artists, music, and events that have shaped our communities but may have faded from music history. This episode focuses on Brenda and the Tabulations, a group central to the Philadelphia soul movement from the mid-60s to the mid-1970s. Let's look at a brief history. The original lineup consisted of Eddie Jackson, Jerry Jones, and Maurice Coates. Now, Brenda and Maurice, they were working together. They were both supervisors in a playground in downtown Philadelphia. So one day in 1966, as they were doing their supervisory work, they would also sing to the kids who were in the playground, and they became pretty popular with the children. So one day they're out there just singing, and a record producer just happened to pass by. Now, the name of this producer was Gilda Woods. She drove by, she heard them singing, parked her car, got out, and asked them if they had any original material. She really loved what she heard. And like most people who are anxious for this type of opportunity, they lied and said that they did when they really didn't. Now, she said she would meet them at Maurice's house in order to hear them sing and hear more of their music. This was arranged. They quickly wrote a tune called Dry Your Eyes. Now, it was written rather quickly, and they were thinking that, hey, this could really work. Gilda comes over, she likes what she hears, she in then turns, have them audition for another producer who was actually blown away too. So what happens after that? That producer writes up a contract. Maurice and Brenda read it carefully, and the next thing you know, this producer is telling them they need another song for the flip side of the record in order to release it as a single. This happens. Now, while they're in the recording studio, Maurice has to think of a name for the group because they were coming across a couple of names that they really didn't like. So Maurice thought about counting and tabulating. So for some reason that came into his head, and the name of the group was born, with Brenda being the front singer. Now, they would actually add 2 more members to the group, and there you have Brenda and the Tabulations. Now, the group would go on to record a total of 3 albums that contain their standard of heartbreaking ballads, and the group would also try their hand at some danceable tunes as well. However, it is their ballads, some that were mid-tempo, some that were pretty slow, that really defined this group. Dry Your Eyes would reach number 2 on the R&B charts and in the top 20 on the pop charts. The group's first album, which was also titled Dry Your Eyes, contains a few remakes such as Who's Loving You and Summertime. There's also a really pretty ballad called Stay Together Young Lovers. And it's probably a song that sounds better now than it did in 1967. The Touch of You would also become a local favorite, and it is given so much life, and it's because of the vocals provided by Brenda Payton. Right on the tip of my tongue would also become one of their biggest hits. And this was on a different record label called Top and Bottom Records. This song was actually written and produced by Van McCoy. Brenda and the Tabulations were a fabulous group that really contributed and helped create the sound of Philadelphia. They worked with some of the best producers, Van McCoy being one of them, as well as Gilda Woods. Now, the lineup for this group would actually change around 1969 and early 1970. Jackson would leave and be replaced by Bernard Murphy. By 1971, all three original members were gone. Two backup singers, female backup singers, would enter. On the album called I Keep Coming Back for More, it's really a solo project. There's no one else on this album that's singing but Brenda Payton. The group had essentially disbanded by that time, so you now just have Brenda alone singing on that final album. The original member, Eddie Jackson, he would pass away in 2010. Brenda Payton would die of breast cancer in 1992. Now, at the height of Philadelphia soul, there were major producers such as Tom Bell and Gamble and Huff. Now, those were the two major ones. If you were being produced by anybody, it would be either them or Tom Bell. Yet, there were over 10 other artists who was either being produced by these producers, the Jacksons included. The orchestral sound that Tom Bell was so well known for was being replaced slowly but surely by the most aggressive sounds of Gamble and Huff. So it's easy to see why a group such as Brenda and the Tabulations would get lost. And also, moving to different record labels can also be a sign of changing times. This group, however, were unlike most of the R&B groups of that time that may have had maybe one or even two hits. Brenda and the Tabulations, they were releasing really good music and music that is still relevant today. They had, local hits and national hits. And they were also songwriters. Maurice and Brenda wrote the majority of the songs, beginning with Dry Your Eyes. And they were rewarded through their royalties. There was no, BS in these two individuals. They were educated and they understood the contract that they were being asked to sign and read. If you Google search this group, there are a lot of sources dedicated to them, but they still remain something of an enigma. And that's a little bit baffling because in the music industry, it can be that way. Documentaries like Looking Back and music groups like IFATs provide a venue to learn about such groups and to create a legacy where none existed before. Brenda and the Tabulations deserve to be mentioned as contributors to the sound of Philadelphia in the same breath as those who are directly defined by it. Reward yourself by taking the time to listen to not only their songs you are familiar with, but those that were overlooked over 50 years ago. Looking back can be a really good thing. I'm Pamela D. Thank you for watching.